Hey, it's new for everything. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Show. I'm Scuffy alongside Cougs, and we are live on YouTube for the first time ever. Cougs, first time ever on the YouTube. We are live with a new episode of Inside the Show. Not only that, we're going to have a little co-op gameplay, a little after the episode. It's going to be a fun night here, Cougs. How's everything going? It's been a big week for MLB Show. It really has. It's something that we didn't expect to come with the tech test last week and into this week and be able to open and we could talk about it, but we'll get to that momentarily. Let me just say how the vibes are going right now. The vibes up?
Everything's good, man. I mean, the fact that we not only got the tech test, but the fact that we were able to make content on the tech test, kind of re-energized me because this next month and a half ish is gonna be pretty rough for trying to keep going on the MLB content. But hey, man, this tech test was a nice little taste, and I'm really happy they let us make content on it this year around, man. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, it definitely was, and we'll get to. I mean, the reason right off the bat. I mean, it's pretty much what we started out this week. Well, last week with the news, and we did get the coach video as we discussed last podcast. We're like, oh, do we see a coach video when we drop the new episode beforehand? And we did. Coach made a finally appearance. It wasn't just coach. It was another coach as well, and another coach, and another coach. And it was good. A good video.
Spider-Man, no way, coach.
Yeah,
coach was everywhere, man.
The multiverse of coach and MLB Show. But yeah, we got the news of co-op coming to MLB The Show, and that's the big feature. Like we saw with Stadium Creator last year, co-op this year, and they had the little coach video. Otani made an appearance as well. But Cougs, we got a mode to finally play with friends, and this is something that we've been missing in MLB Show. With every other sports game, whether it be Madden, whether it be NHL, 2K, they all have a mode to play with friends, right? And now we get a mode for MLB, and let me say, it's a welcome. It's definitely a welcome, and it's finally here, and it's been fun to, now to play with the tech test as well.
Yeah, man, this is something, like you said, that we've wanted for years. It's about time that MLB got, in the co-op game. And so far, I mean, obviously this is a tech test. It's had its bugs here and there, but the structure of it, the foundation of it, I am really stoked for this and what this has, in the pipeline down the road. Co-op, I think, is I mean, dude, to me, it was some of the most fun I've had playing MLB in years. Just hanging out with my friends, laughing at what, mistakes somebody makes, or getting hyped when your buddy hits a home run, or having your guy hype you up. Like, it's just a different way to play MLB. It's a fresh way to play MLB. And, we're going to talk about some of the co-op stuff, obviously, but I just think right now, setting the foundation for this mode, they've done a really good job with that.
Oh, hands down. It's funny because once we think of co-op, I mean, it's been something that we've been talking about, like how concepts we done in the community. And I feel like what we would describe in the community, what we think the mode would be, is pretty much exactly that. So if you haven't got to check out yet, either playing the tech test or the feature, which we'll discuss in a little bit, co-op is pretty much you can play 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3. You do 2 versus 2. Someone's pitching and being the catcher, and the other person's in the infield or outfield. If you're on the defensive side of things, if you're offense, you rotate each time, and then you rotate each inning. And it's very similar to 3 versus 3, 1 outfield, 1 infield, 1 pitcher and catcher, and rotate as you go on to different innings. And pretty straightforward. And what we got from the rip, especially when going to tech test, is co-op is all casual right now. We might want to see some Diamond Dynasty rewards towards it. We didn't get to see the Diamond Dynasty gameplay yet with co-op in the tech test, but we'll get that once the game releases. But now, Cougs, I kind of like how they started off just being casual. I know I do want Diamond Dynasty rewards, don't get me wrong, but I kind of like how they started it because you want to get acquainted with the mode, right? You want to get the feel of the mode, and then they want to see the data as well. Maybe if there's any server issues, and we'll get to that in a little bit, or just anything. They just want to see how the mode works first, I think, and we get to see how the mode first. This is very similar to Stadium Creator and to, I guess, Road to Show with the ball player. This is a start of a long-term goal of theirs. Like this is the fresh start of the mode, like we saw with custom leagues, and now Stadium Creator, and now co-op, and then eventually build on top of it. And that's where we are.
Yeah, it's definitely the foundation year for this mode, and I think a lot of people had the same idea. Like when co-op got announced, it's a really exciting feature. It's something that people were looking forward to. But then when they did the feature premiere and they mentioned that it was just going to be casual, there were going to be no rewards or no leaderboard or anything attached to it when the game initially drops. A lot of people did feel like, then kind of what's the point? Um, but I mean, just from playing the tech test and experiencing some of the bugs and some of the things, like pretty sure if one person leaves a game, the entire game is done.
Yeah.
Like if I have rewards tied to that, it kind of feels like it's not going to be the most enjoyable experience to actually grind co-op. Whereas co-op should just be something you can do with your boys when you guys, just are looking for something to kill some time with or whatever. Um, I feel like there are a lot of bugs and a lot of things that need to be ironed out with the mode before they can start doing rewards. And, I think a lot of people understand that. I think a lot of people definitely want some sort of reward path or something mixed in there. But I like that they're going with, let's make sure the mode works first. Let's iron out any of the kinks. Let's get all of the bugs out of there. And then we'll start talking about incentives to actually play the mode for more rewards and stuff like that. So overall, it's a good move, I think. Even though it kind of makes the idea of co-op like a secondary thing.
Yeah, I see that. And I also like it being 6 innings, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
6 innings is perfect. I think 9 innings would have been way too long. And I'm glad they saw that from. I went to my first co-op game and I was playing with Ray, Ray Cheesy. Follow him everywhere if you don't know him by now. And I thought we were going 9 innings, and then all of a sudden it was 6 innings, and I'm like, okay, this is bad because he invited me, so I'm the one pitching the six, and I gotta close out the game here, Cougs. That's not.
Yeah, we all know where that leads.
Yeah, and it actually did happen. I'm not gonna say it actually did happen. We were up by one. I kind of blew the game. Luckily, we walked it off. But it's a breath of fresh air. That's what it
Yes.
is, especially for us content creators. Like you said, it's fun to get like just talk to other content creators, because usually when we're streaming or doing videos, most of the time it's just us and the screen, right? And the chat.
Yes.
And we love the chat, and we love you, chat, for being here today. Remember, we're live on YouTube, and we'll
Shout out,
have
chat.
these special episodes here and there. So make sure to sub to our YouTube inside the show. So shout out to you, chat. But it's been a lot of fun to just banter back and forth, just talk about like how we do. I mean, we're luckily we get to do this every week, right? Talk about on the show. Now other content creators get to see, like, okay, now we get to talk about this game, get a little insight, because me and Ray were just going back on BR stuff and what I've been seeing through the tech test. Like I've been, Kooks, I forgot. I probably should have put this. We should have a BR segment tonight because there's a lot of new cards out there. If the pitches stay the same for these cards come into 22, I'm telling you, there's new pitchers and pitchers that are coming back that are going to be a force come in BR.
So you're telling me we've already got some week 1 content planned around Battle Royale.
I mean,
that's what you're telling me right now.
I was debating even making a tier list, but I thought that would have been a little bit too OP. Just do it from the tech test. Like, why are you making?
Yeah.
But
Because you don't know exactly what's going to change and what isn't. But like, it's enticing, right?
Yeah, it's very enticing, and I was really debating. Like, I kind of want to just do it for fun. I was talking to Sport before. I was going through, the first thing I did was go through inventory. This is how I'm a BR addict. I already know this. I'm a BR addict. I went through the inventory, spent like 20, 30 minutes, and I was in heaven because there was just so much new changes that came. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's save that for a little bit later, and we'll plug that BR segment in. But go back to co-op. I think 2 thumbs up so far. Just it's the beginning, right? So I don't expect too much from the beginning. I expect it to just keep on increasing what they put into the mode, which we'll see. The only thing I would love to see is definitely match up with other teams. especially for tournaments and stuff like that. That's one thing I would love to see.
Yeah. No, I really hope they do that. Otherwise, the only way we could do like co-op tourneys is if we do like the BR tourney like you had, where you
Yeah.
go into a game and you add up points and stuff like that. But it would be really nice to do a 2v2 against friends. I don't know when we could expect that to be added to the mode, if maybe next year, whatever, but like that would be really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. Hands down. So, and the co-op went, we got the feature, of course, and that went along with the feature as we discussed. And then they came with the news, Cougs, that we get a tech test, which we mentioned just before, but an open tech test. And how great that was. We actually get to talk about it, which we are able here. Last year, we weren't able to talk about anything until they discussed it on the feature. Now we get to talk about, we saw a lot of new things that came into play for MLB Show 22, whether it is, well, into the tech test and eventually see it come into the regular release. But it was fun. And it still is, because you still could play until the 23rd. And I highly recommend, if you haven't yet, just download it, play it, and you get a free gold pack. I mean,
Yep.
for playing the tech test. So if you, even if you don't have a desire but one gold free pack, forget one player item, go ahead and play it. But Cougs, overall thoughts of, I guess, just the tech test being open at first, and then we'll get into some gameplay additions.
I think it's great. I really like that the tech test was open because, I mean, they always had this thing where it's like, oh, don't talk about the alpha or don't talk about the tech test or whatever, because they obviously don't want their product being, tossed around on social media like this is the final version of their product when it's a completely earlier build of the game.
Mhm.
Um, but the fact that they made it open and the fact that there was no invite thing, like you just could download it on the PS Store, it means that everybody is on the same page about it. It's a beta. Everybody knows that it's not the final product. Everybody can go download it right now. And the only thing I didn't love is the fact that the watermark stuff is still up there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at the top of the screen it says 22 tech test. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, like that's on the screen the entire time you're on the game. I don't really know if the watermark was all that necessary, but it's probably some legal thing at the end of the day or whatever. But yeah, the tech test being open, I think, is good for a ton of reasons. It honestly, I think it's much easier for the community to provide feedback than it is having like a select group of people and then relying on those select group of people to actually go to the forums of the Show Nation to provide feedback. Obviously, that's where they still want you to go, but people being able to put clips out on Twitter or whatever
Mhm.
and stuff like that, SDS is going to see that stuff too. So I think just the way they can get feedback is definitely improved with the tech test, or with the tech test being open. Yeah, I would just like if the watermark was off.
Yeah, I was watching Tyler, of course, and he, I feel like there was questions he was keep getting. Why is your name in the middle screen? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's one thing. I mean, you had the, like you said, the banner of the only thing I can think is like if someone tries to crop it, be like, oh, this is MLB Show 22 early gameplay.
That's fair.
That's
That's
the only
fair.
thing I could think of. But maybe they just forgot. I don't know. I really, because I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, I don't think Madden does it when they had their open beta or whatever it was, and they don't have a watermark like that, so I don't know. Might be a
Yeah, I'm
Sony
not
thing.
sure.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna be like it would make sense with with being able to crop it and stuff. Nothing important about it.
Yeah, exactly. But what was also good about 'em being open test is we get to actually talk about the gameplay editions. So there was
Mhm.
multiple different gameplay editions. One, the first thing that came up, it was the PCI anchor. If you're listening the first time, don't know what that means. PCI anchor is pretty much you click on L3 or whatever your left stick is if you're on Xbox or a Switch, and then there's 9 dots across the screen, right? So you click on the stick, and then you point the stick to one of those 9 dots. What does that do? It presets your PCI in that location. So what if I want it inside? I could click on the middle inside, and then it presets in the middle inside. It's very, I don't want to say it's like guest pitch, but similar to guest pitch, kind of, if you think of that. But for me, I don't see it that way. I see it where it could combat meta, especially sinkers inside. If someone's spamming you sinkers inside, hey, I'm going to just move my PCI on there. What if you struggle on inside pitches? You only have to worry about 2/3 of the cover of the plate. It's also going to help newcomers, I think. Pitch recognition. I mean, what's the one thing you get as Cougs? Like, pretty much, how do I get better at hitting, right?
Mhm.
Usually place your PCI in one area, keep it in that area so you build up that pitch recognition, take until you get 2 strikes. That's usually I go at. And then you'll eventually increase that zone. You'll see better pitch, you see pitches better and go from there. This actually helps you do that. So I thought that was a great addition. For me personally, I liked using it where because I like to put it on the inside for until I get 2 strikes. Then 2 strikes, I pretty much let it be whatever. Because I feel like a lot of people like to come inside first. Like I'm thinking how I will pitch myself, especially if I'm in BR, because you want those quick outs. We'll get to the salmon in a little bit, but you want those quick outs. So people are going to try to spam the meta right from the bit, whether it's cutter away, cutter inside, sinker inside. It's just that's what I'm thinking of. So it worked out for a couple games too. And I was like, okay, I didn't really have to move my PCI here, and I was able to hit better um than I normally would.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't think it's like guess pitch at all, actually, because the difference with guess pitch is that if you guess, it's going to be something in the upper third or in the upper quadrant of the zone, whatever. Um, it'll guess pitch will tell you if you're right, whereas if you're just guessing a spot over the plate, like with the PCI anchor, you still have to make the adjustment
Mhm.
whether it's there or not. And I think it's actually really nice for players that um, struggle with a very particular pitch. And this is one of my issues. Is I 99% of the time I'm sitting on an inside pitch. Like
Mhm.
I am always looking inside because we've played MLB the show for years. We know how the hitting engine works at this point. You want to be early, plain and simply. You
Yep.
want to be early or good, somewhere around there. You don't really want to be late on anything inside. I mean, obviously, but um, I always try to sit inside. But if I'm sitting inside when it's righty righty, I have trouble getting to like a high and away cutter or a low and away slider sometimes because I'm looking on that inner third of the plate, which is where I feel like a lot of people try to put a majority of their pitches. Now that I have the PCI anchor, I know that I can like get to the parts of the zone that are a struggle area for me because I don't have to rely on my thumb being in a perfect spot because I can move the PCI to a starting point and then adjust from there. So I actually think it's a really good addition, not for just like newer players, but I think it's a good addition for people that are trying to figure out their weaknesses when it comes to hitting. And you could be playing the game for 5, 6 years, or you could be playing it for 1, 2, or it could be your first year. I think everybody could use the PCI anchor feature to their advantage if they're willing to kind of like think about it a little bit and think about what this is actually providing for you. So I'm a big fan of the anchor. I'm not saying I'm going to use it in every single at bat,
Yeah.
but it is something that I will be keeping in my mind as I go throughout a game and figure out my opponent's tendencies when pitching and stuff like that. So I love this feature.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said the tendency stuff. I see it more being used in rank than I do in BR.
Yeah,
A left,
especially
left,
with the pitch speeds and the different difficulties and stuff. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That I mean, pretty much nails it. Like for me, like I was trying to see how much I would use in BR. Mostly, I will use in BR if I get like a lefty lefty matchup because you're going to get two things. You're going to get the pitch away, whether the slider away or the inside pitch, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's kind of how you get the lefty
Yeah,
lefty.
that's the only two things people throw.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I could really think of. Besides that, I kind of just go off reaction, especially in All Star. You're going to have a big PCI. So I don't want to overthink it. That's one thing I saw myself doing with the anchor at first. I was overthinking it. And then I was struggling with my PCI placement. So I see myself more using it on the higher levels, like you said, Hall of Fame or Legend, especially in ranked, unless we get a new mode. So yeah, fantastic addition. It's another like quality of life type of edition that we love to see come in the game. And speaking of that, we get a couple more. So let's continue with the hitting though. The shrink of the PCI. So the shrink of the PCI, if you move outside the zone, it gets smaller. So say if I try to hit a ball below the strike zone, the PCI is going to be smaller. You still can make contact. It's just going to be a smaller zone to make it. Um, Personally, foul balls is where I was trying to see how that affects, because that's what you think. Am I going to get more swing and misses? Am I going to be fouling off more? I mean, fouling off less. Personally, I thought foul balls were kind of the same in 21, at least. But then again, I was just playing BR. I felt still people were fouling off regardless of outside the zone pitches or not. Um, that's just my personal, like, from playing multiple hours on that. I'm curious on hear your thoughts. I like the addition. Don't get me wrong. I like the addition, but I just feel like it still feels the same to me when someone's trying to hit outside the zone.
Yeah, I think the idea of it is very, very solid, and I think it makes a ton of sense when you think about it from a baseball perspective. The farther out of the zone you try to reach for a pitch, the
Mhm.
lower your ability to hit the ball should be. Like, I'm not saying it has to be impossible, but like, you shouldn't be able to put something on the barrel if it's completely out of the zone, obviously. So, um, with that being said, I'm with you. I haven't noticed really much of a difference yet.
Mhm.
I do have to be fair though. I have played in regular Diamond Dynasty. I have played probably 9 innings overall because
Oh,
I've been
okay.
spending so much time in co-op and just and when I'm playing co-op, I'm not thinking about the foul balls all the time. I'm
Mhm.
not thinking about the PCI results. I'm reacting to what Dimu just did or Kevin or Shelfie. I'm reacting to what's going on in the game based off what we're talking about and stuff. I'm not always so hyper focused on the flaws of the game. And so, as of right now, I don't think it's fair for me to say, or fair for me to make a full judgment on the foul balls from the from the 9 innings that I've played, which I'm pretty sure have all been on All Star. I I haven't noticed a difference, but that is, in my opinion, not even close to a big enough sample size to really make a judgment on that. So it's not. Unfortunately, it's just something I'm gonna have to defer to until the game actually comes out.
Yeah, I mean, as we go on, as we put more hours, I mean, that's the same thing for any gameplay edition. I you know me, I couldn't help myself. I'm a BR fiend. I had to try out these
Yeah,
new pitchers.
and
And you know,
And yeah, one more thing about that actually that just popped in my head. We always have to remember because I feel like Diamond Dynasty, it's such a dynamic mode where new
mhm,
players are always getting added. You're hardly ever using somebody with the same attributes
yep,
for a significant amount of time. Like you're as the year goes on, you're gonna get better hitters in the game, and people are going to be able to get more and more comfortable at the plate and foul off more pitches just based off the actual cards they're using. Obviously you have pitchers that will have higher hits per nine, hopefully, and that should help combat that. But you just have to remember when you're playing Diamond Dynasty, the game, the not necessarily the meta, but the gameplay in smaller aspects like that will change based off the content that is coming into the game. So however foul balls are day one might not even be what they're like on day 200, because just
mhm.
the field of the game is so much different. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about foul balls and talking about gameplays early on in the game.
Same,
So because it's different later on.
yeah, same for hitting. I felt like you got to remember we're playing in major league stadiums for the
Yes.
majority of the tech tests. So I was like, why is the balls not traveling as far for as like say I'm playing minor league? And speaking of minor league, let's just get to it. I want to interrupt this. How about ship it being nerfed? Kind of
Oh
nerfed.
my god, I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. Being out of Colorado, no more altitude. I think it was around like 4,000, five.
I think no,
Because
I think it was almost max, right?
no, Laughing Mountains max. I'm curious what they do with Laughing Mountain.
Oh,
Laughing
okay.
Mountains has it's worse than Ship It. But yeah, I'm very curious if they're going to go to a set altitude for minor league stadiums now to keep it that competitive because they see the competitor players playing there more. I mean, I think that was the reason. They were pretty much all right. Why is everyone playing at Ship It, especially in these comp tournaments? And there's a reason behind it.
Mhm.
I mean, we didn't see anything but Ship It in the last, I think, tournament in the Dynasty Invitational. So,
Yeah.
but either way, you got to remember that when hitting in the tech test, you're playing on major league stadiums. I mean, it's going to vary from each one. Because at first I thought I was like, all right, I feel like I should be, the ball should be fine, but I got to remember I'm playing at Laughing Mountain. I am one of those guys that will play at Laughing Mountain where the altitude's max, or playing at Creative Stadium where it's a little bit above what a typical major league stadium is. So you got to keep that remind. But it's hard to think about that because you're just diving in to get some gameplay.
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, ship it being nerfed. I'm very curious what else they do about the other minor league stadiums. But people are still
And
going to be playing ship it though.
yeah, but I was just about to say that, like, a lot of people play it, ship it because of the elevation and stuff like that. But a lot of people actually like ship it just because of the batter's eye. It
Mhm.
there's really nothing obstructing the batter's eye. The brown kind of reddish color, whatever it is, makes the ball stand out a lot compared to other batter's eyes at different stadiums. It feels like it's a lot more difficult to kind of do any sort of lighting exploits because there's certain like Bayfront Park. If you play at June at like 1 p.m. and you face a guy like Chris Sale or anybody who has kind of like a sidearm motion, you can't see the ball. Like you just can't do it. So I don't think there's any issues to my knowledge like that at Ship It, and that's a reason why people play there. But you're right. I'm curious if changing the elevation, and I would actually be a big fan of making elevation uniform
Yeah.
across the board. I don't know if that's something they want to do because you also have stadiums like Bayfront, like what's the other one? There's another one that has water in the distance. Those ones you probably have to keep at like a lower elevation just to match
Mhm.
the idea of what the park is. But if they want to throw that little bit of realism out the window, I'm totally down at keeping all minor league parks at a neutral elevation. So that way it's just more of, oh, like I just kind of like the way this park looks. I like the way this park plays, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anything to get rid of this stupid ship it advantage, in
Mhm.
my opinion, is a good thing.
Yeah. If they have a, let's just say, if they had a true comp mode, which we don't have right now, real in my aspect, if we're taking the past modes, we don't really have a true comp mode. Yeah, we have ranked, but it's not like it doesn't. I'm all in this tangent again. I'm gonna go off this tangent again. Rankage just doesn't cut it for me personally. It's just feels stale to me. Um, but I don't feel like that's a true competitive mode. Like weekend league, let's say we brought in weekend league. I feel like that needs to have a uniformed playing field. Whether that is making their own comp stadiums now, since we're getting 9 games. Imagine we had like 4 comp stadiums to choose from for that. But I know for a casual player, they're going to want different views, different stadiums, and they're going to want to play at their favorite MLB park, and they should be able to. Um, but if we're going that route of taking the altitude out of ship it, and I feel like you got to do balance the other stadiums as well.
Yeah, and that's a tough uh that's a tough task for SDS because you got to think like you're
Yeah.
right. If you're a casual viewer, you might be like, "Dang, dude, these guys are always playing in this stadium. Why don't they ever play at Target Field? Why don't they ever play at T-Mobile Stadium? Like, why don't they ever do this stuff?" When you're a casual viewer, you might not understand the impact that elevation has. But I will say, SDS has made like some changes. They took out wind out of
Yeah.
ranked seasons a few years ago. That was a big thing. That was a completely, although wind was more random, whereas
Mhm.
altitude, what you're getting going into the game. I mean, so it just comes down to what SDS really wants to do. Do they want to do like a rotating few stadiums? Do they want to just let you pick wherever? I do think you have to try to make the rules and the stadiums as uniform as possible if you're doing them dedicated to competitive. But it's not a task that I envy because you really have to walk that line between what's best for the competitive players, but also what's the best viewing experience for a casual person just watching. So
Yeah.
it's really tough. It's a tough middle ground for them.
Yeah, but they are, like you said, give them credit. They do attack the meta when needed. And
Hmm.
I guess one thing that we could talk about is now the par,
Hmm.
kind of doing that, which they attack that. We all know about the Edward Cabrera from the beginning of the year when we saw the sinkers up inside 97 mile an hour, dotting it up. And what you're supposed to do here, Cooks? What can you do? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, it was brutal. It was that like month and a half where
uh-huh.
Edward was the guy was
It was worse
some
than
of the most
Kluber, worse than Kershaw, I think.
yeah, it was some of the most brutal ranked seasons I've ever played.
Yep. So now with the par, if you don't know what par is, it's perfect accuracy region. So if you get a perfect throw when you're either doing pinpoint, or I believe analog still gets perfect input as well. You have that little circle outlines the baseball, and that's the region it'll go in, depending if you get perfect or not. Now, if you take your secondary pitches, well, I mean more secondary pitches, not your fastballs or two seams, because they don't really rise up with the par. But say if I want a sinker, like we just discussed, say I'm trying to throw a sinker atop the zone instead of the below the zone, the par is going to be bigger. It's going to expand as you move up. So that's a great way of attacking the meta, I think. And shout out to not Nate as well, because I posted a picture of DeGrom and showed the difference between the top zone and low zone for a slider, which is bigger on the top. It also showed this the break. The break of the pitch is not as significant as it would be below the zone. So that's another thing to look out for too. And that's why I recommend having that trail on instead of a classic view for the pitching, because then you could actually see the trail of the breaking ball. So yeah, I thought that was a great addition.
Yeah, and yeah, all that stuff is great. It just we have to reinforce the point for a lot of people that just because it's more difficult to hit spots that are more, I guess, unrealistic, like high sinkers,
Yep.
high curveballs, stuff like that. Just because it's more difficult to do with the perfect region shrinking doesn't mean it's impossible. So, like,
No.
you still might get dotted up by a high and in sinker. You still might get that random slider high and away. It still might happen. They're just trying to make it happen less and make people use the pitches in more of the way they're intending to be used. So just always we always got to keep that in mind. It's
Yeah.
not it's not
Well,
saying
that's
it's
why
never
we
going to
have you
happen
here,
to you.
Kooks. That's why we have you, just to reinforce that for when I miss it. But yeah, you're 100%, 110% right. So that's what we're going to see more once we get more into ranked and see these starters, see how these starters are created, especially with the H per nines, and then see what the control is, and then go from there. I think we'll see that more into effect as we play more ranked come into 22.
100%.
Yep. You want to take the next one? I know you like this one. Perfect throws.
Dude, I mean, I said 2 years ago that the the off the wall ribbon
Oh, by
um
the way, I hate to cut you off, but they
go for it.
turned that off on default. So
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't know why.
It's
I
so
never
weird.
was that like for 21, because I was like, where is
I
it?
I I think it was. I think it was like that cuz I had it off for a while and I didn't even realize
They
it.
need to put that on default, because that's a great addition. And I don't understand why you wouldn't want the users to see
Yeah,
that.
and I like you said, it's a great addition in I think 19 when they added
Yeah.
it or 20 or whatever. I thought that was the single best gameplay addition they added. Adding that ability to judge a ball correctly off the wall and also have your fielder's rating go into that decision, I thought was a great thing they added. Um, I have a feeling that the perfect throws to any base from the outfield are going to rival that as well because
Yes.
being able to just put the ball right on the money is a skill that, you look at a guy like Mookie Betts. We've seen at two or three at least of Mookie Betts making a play in the right field corner and just airing it out all the way to third base. I think he was in Arizona when he did one. I think he was in Fenway when he did one. And he just throws the ball right on the money with his arm strength and gets the guy going to third. We haven't really had the ability to do that other than just hitting a green throw. Now that we have the ability to put the ball exactly on the money at all times when throwing to a base from the outfield, I think it's going to be a huge addition, especially in game modes like Battle Royale when getting those outs are more of a premium. In a 9 inning game, you can afford to maybe give up an out here or there or not get an out here or there. But in a 3 inning game like Battle Royale, all outs are huge. So if you have the ability to use your fielders to your advantage and make sure that you have the right guy out there to get that perfect throw, if a guy's trying to take that extra base, that could be the difference maker in a 3 inning game like that. So I think this is going to be one of the biggest gameplay additions for sure.
Yeah. I'm so happy it is part of the game. Just like we said for the BR whip, every out's important. I had a situation for third base. I remember playing off the wall, and then I got a perfect throw from the cutoff to third base, and we were able to get him. And then I won by 1 run. It was a 3-2 game, and that was decisive tying game. I was like, all right, sign me up.
Exactly.
I love it. And it's great. I mean, it works out. You know what's another good point with the perfect throws? You know, sometimes when a base runner is stealing and your catcher doesn't, you don't get the meter, but you have them pop up and you see the
Yeah.
overview, they had the perfect throw to go second. So it's like a
Yes.
second type of a chance to have that perfect throw meter to go there. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah. Super good. Just a great addition. I think it's going to be huge.
Yep. Do we go ahead with the next topic and being the next feature, which is going to be the Nintendo
Yeah. I
Switch
mean,
overall gameplay?
I think we can touch on it because you and I have seen clips,
Yeah.
and I think if you follow a lot of MLB The Show community members on Twitter or whatever, you've probably seen some clips and some videos of the Nintendo Switch gameplay, and I think we can all agree it looks a little rough.
Hmm.
It definitely looks a little rough around the edges, but like I said, the feature premiere on Thursday is going to give us a lot more information about it. Maybe give us some more technical details, maybe ways to even optimize how the game performs on the Nintendo
Yep.
Switch. Because I tried to play the game on Switch today and I couldn't find a battle royale game. Like I'm not going to judge the game just off of how it feels in custom practice. Like I want to see how the online ecosystem works, and I wasn't able to experience it today. So I'm not really ready to say anything about it other than the clips I've seen. A little shaky.
Yeah. It definitely looks a little shaky. I'm curious that they'll have like a gameplay setting. Remember in PS4, it had like the balance, the faster, and then the quality setting for
Yeah.
like video. I'm thinking, I don't know. I didn't download, I was out this last weekend, so I didn't have a chance to download it and play with it on my Switch. But I'm curious if it has that type of setting to improve the performance, especially if we want to play online or stuff like that. Have that setting in there. But from like you said, looking at clips, it definitely looks like it's kind of expected though. I mean, you're going from if especially you play on like a PS5 and a next gen console and then going to Switch, you're going to notice the difference. I mean, come on, it's a different type of console. It's not a next gen quote unquote console. Um, so you're going to expect those differences, but it is what it is. I mean, for me personally, and I know for you, I mean, we're going to use it for moments and we're going to use it for that, which I think a lot of people saying the offline is pretty well, especially if you do the handheld mode. The only thing that's I feel like you're going to need, and it's feel like it needs to be said, is that you're probably going to need a pro controller. The Joy Cons are just not
Yeah.
going to cut it.
It's
Um,
hard to do pinpoint on the Joy
yeah.
Cons.
So you just got to be
And
prepared for that. But that's another what, $60?
yeah, it I will say from what I've seen, and I'm gonna kind of quote Ochev on this,
Uh,
it doesn't look like a game that would command $60 in 2022. Like
yeah.
it just doesn't feel like it hits that level. And once again, we're comparing it to the PS5 version and the PS4 version. The game is obviously going to look significantly better on those consoles. Those consoles are built towards performance, whereas the Switch is more built towards the casual pick up and go gaming experience.
Mhm.
So obviously, the Switch was from the start going to be the weaker of all of them in terms of quality of what the game looks like. But um, it just I don't know, man. It just looks odd. It just doesn't. I don't know. I once again I got to get my hands on it, but from what I've seen, it does not look great for online play. But then again, somebody who's never played MLB The Show or has never even played a baseball game, and they just they get a Nintendo eShop gift card for their birthday. They're like, yeah, maybe I'll try out this baseball game. It's got Shohei Ohtani on the cover. Let's give it a shot. Maybe they don't care about graphical performance. Maybe
Yeah.
they just care about the ability to play a baseball game on a handheld console. So, you got to think about it from different perspectives. But if we're talking about the actual performance of the game, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it right now.
Yeah. I think our homework for next episode, especially being the future, is play a little bit more. And then we'll
Yeah,
come back next
100%.
week and we'll talk
Well, I
about our
mean, we've got
well,
what,
you still could do
one
custom
day?
practice. So, I mean, I
That's
get,
true.
yeah, I get you right. We got into Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We got So
Tomorrow's gonna be a long day for me, Scuffy.
yeah. So I am going to make sure I play that at least one or two few online games beforehand. Can you link up your accounts yet between the Switch?
No, not
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 yet.
that I could find at least.
Okay, I wasn't sure of that, so I'll try that out before and make it be a homework for myself. Hey, that's pretty good homework if you ask me.
Yeah, I'll take that
I
any day of
mean,
the
I
week.
mean, come on now. Uh, but yeah, we'll talk about a lot more of the Nintendo Switch next week because it's going to be the whole feature, and we'll have the whole podcast based around this. That was just a little tidbits of what we want to say. And overall, I do want to bring up the presentation of the tech test itself. We saw a lot of new animate. All right. I'm getting
Oh,
excited by just talking
oh
about
yeah,
this.
yeah. Hey, your tone
All right.
changed. You're ready.
Yeah. I forgot. It just came to me when thinking about presentation. And I'm doing presentation and animation. So let's just say both together. Um, have you noticed? Have you noticed when you have a hit the third base, they kind of bobble the ball a little bit, right? So I had my third baseman bobble the ball. What did they do? They get up, they plant their feet right away with a quick throw and throw to first base. They don't, they don't like do a little step and then throw. They just do a quick step and then sidearm it to first, have a quicker animation. I was like, what just happened? Why do I love this so much? And I was just amazed by how I was still able to get the guy from first when it was like a 80 plus speed spur, and Mondesi was able to throw him out, and I was just amazed. I had to stop stream, I had to clip it. I was just like, "What?" I'm telling you, they made a couple new animations to this game that made the infielders a little bit more urgent in my eyes. I had a Patrick Wisdom earlier today, slow dribber, man on first. He actually charged the ball like big, like never seen a first baseman charge the ball like this in the show and able to turn it for a double play. But yeah, there's a few little things that I'm loving to see so far.
Yeah, I haven't even experienced that yet, which now gets me excited. It kind of wants to let me, or it kind of makes me want to get on BR right now and see what you're talking about. Another thing, we noticed some batting stances got changed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like Stanton was one of them. I think Bellinger,
Your boy Trout.
uh, Trout. Yeah, I saw Trout was changed.
Mhm.
Otani was changed a little bit just with like what he does with his foot. There's somebody else that I'm not thinking.
Frisk posted a great shout out to Frisk, friend of the show. Posted a great video of all different stances. I think Tim Anderson, Bo Bichette. Tim Anderson, he made a good point. Frisk made a good point. He had like a little different animation when he tries to push the ball to the opposite field. If
Huh.
you know, I highly recommend watching. I believe it's on his TikTok or on Twitter, where he shows that, and it's pretty interesting. Belly has a new stance. Harper has a new stance. Ozzy Albies. They do need to fix some stances though. Gavin Sheets, his foot is in almost touching home plate. If you haven't noticed.
I didn't notice, but I honestly I didn't expect you to say Gavin Sheets. I thought you were gonna say some superstar
No.
like you know. I was expecting like Freddie Freeman or Acuna is no Gavin Sheets.
Gavin
Okay,
Sheets, man.
okay,
Yeah. We'll play with the White Sox, in co-op. I'll show you.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, also I think Tatis might have had his stance
yes,
changed,
he's a little open
but
more.
but I used him in Diamond Dynasty today. I used him in an event game, and his stance looked the same. So I don't know if maybe they just haven't updated it on the cards, or maybe it's the fact that that card was tied to 21, where he had a different stance. I'm not sure, but yeah, the Tatis stance felt the same to me from
Okay.
last year, but I haven't used him in offline yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I haven't got to use him yet, so I just know it looked like from what people are posting, it's a little bit more open. And
yeah.
someone on our chat said Jake Bain said Tatis with the bronze fielding right now, which I can't see.
Ooh. Well, then
He
again,
does
ratings aren't final.
yeah, yeah, ratings are not final, but if it does hold up, I kind of see that because I remember he was a little like his error rate was a little high when he
Well, the
first
thing with
started out.
Tatis is that he's not a bad fielder. He's
Yeah.
definitely not a bad fielder. He just has accuracy issues because he's always trying
Yep.
to make that hero play.
Yep. That
He's going all out for every out. Like he's gonna miss some throws, and that's where a majority of his errors come from.
Didn't even have to
But
follow
he's
that
good
up.
with the glove.
Yep, you took it right up. I was literally going to just follow that. I was like, oh, I don't have to talk anymore. But yeah, also, you saw Jazz's
Yeah, the
step.
Euro.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
great. Truman posted a Twitter clip, and it kind of everyone took upon it, talking baseball, and then Jazz himself, and then we show tweeted out. So that I thought Lindor has his little home run celebration when he crosses home plate. He goes like that. There's a lot of new
And
things.
I just want to say with that, like, it might seem like cool things, like for
Mhm.
us, because like, oh, we haven't seen that animation in the game, but that's actually a big deal. Like, it might seem like a small thing to add, but that's a big deal to a lot of people because you can get attached to players like Jazz or like Lindor by what they do. Like, you have guys who have very specific home run celebrations. So you have those in the game. People are going to want to go out of their way to use that card. And then some people might even see something in the game that they think is cool. And then they see that person do that in real life. And they start to form an attachment with that player. So, like, it might seem like very little things, but in the grand scheme of things, adding those animations and adding those bits of personality to the game just adds so much more life and so much more depth to the game. And it's not a game changing thing, but it's the little things that will add up
Yes.
to make it just such a better experience overall.
Yep. And the biggest thing I love instead of the third base animation I was talking about, strikeouts. You get to see close up and strikeouts now if you haven't seen it
Oh
yet.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you strike someone out, you get to see the motion from the pitcher right there. Your opponent sees that, you see it. It's like a little L2, but it's automatic, and I love
Yeah.
it. You see the motion from there. You see the stare down for some people too. I had Gradwall. You just see him staring down, like, yeah, I got you. So yeah, I'd love to see that. And they have a whole feature coming up, which we'll discuss more once about presentation. So they did a lot of work towards that. I believe it's presentations and custom themes together. I could be
Well, I
wrong.
think it's presentation and commentary.
Oh, presentation commentary. I'm very curious on
Yeah.
commentary if we get new commentary or not, which
I think
kind of
we'll have the same commentators, but I think they're gonna have a lot of lines reworked.
yeah, because we always see Plesac post a picture like
Yeah.
somewhere during the summer, later in the summer, him doing
Yeah.
lines on Twitter. So yeah, we'll see more of that and we'll discuss that as that feature comes out. Let's see what else do we got for today. We always talk about the free tech. Oh, how about did we miss anything? I don't think we missed anything before. We want to move on to the new legends that we got.
No, yeah. We've talked about a lot of the gameplay things
Yep.
in the tech test. We talked about some of the presentation. We talked about some of the upcoming premieres.
Yep.
I think we've done a pretty good job covering everything or covering most of the things that are notable. So
Yep.
let's talk about some things that actually get us excited about the game, like these new legends.
Yeah, new legends. I mean, you were right. So I'll give you this one about the two new legends. I mean, I was kind of thinking out of the box, but it was right there. So you can
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, so we got the tease last week that we got two new legends coming into the game, and they are both former teammates with each other. And myself and a lot of other people predicted Mauer and Morneau. I saw some other guesses out there, but it seemed pretty clear with them doing the cover athlete choice pack and stuff like that that Mauer was going to get revealed at some point. And in my opinion, it just makes a bunch of sense to have Joe or Justin Morneau in there as well. So Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau, and we actually got to see a little bit of gameplay with both of them when they did the feature premiere, and they showed off the Diamond Dynasty element of
Yep.
co-op. They drafted a Joe Mauer Diamond card, I want to
Nope,
say,
both
and then
gold, baby.
they were both gold.
I was shaking my hand like this, like, yep, BR
Yeah,
program it is, baby.
they were both gold, and then Ryan Howard was the diamond. That's
Yes,
right.
85
Yeah.
diamond,
So,
all star, old.
so yeah. So with that, we got those two new legends, and we're gonna find out another legend on Thursday,
Yes.
either before or during the feature premiere. Who do you? Any ideas?
I originally thought it'd be Degallo. I was like, all right. A lot of people were saying Beltran first, but it wasn't Beltran because I know his follow through, it like almost hits his backside. So it wasn't Beltran. And then I thought it was Carlos Delgado because a lot of people thought it was Kauffman Stadium. Was in the picture by seeing the lights, and then Delgado had 3 home runs there, right? So all right, Delgado. And I was getting hyped up here because he's in my top
Yeah,
5 to top
good
10.
boy.
I've been wanting him. I mean, I think I picked him for the Blue Jays when we did the Legends for AL East. So he's up there for me. And then I shout out to MLB TS Card Art. He made the prediction of Gibson, and it turns out the stadium that's there is Dodger Stadium, and I believe Kirk Gibson has like a two-handed swing follow through like that. So now he's got make me think. So I don't I'm all over the place right now. I really am. I want Tagalog. Let's just say that I'm going to stick with Tagalog because I want him so bad. So I just want to manifest it, even if it's not him. Maybe he's in the game somehow. So I'm sticking with him and see where it goes. Cause
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be Kirk Gibson, but I don't know. That to me just doesn't. He obviously Kirk Gibson has a historic moment in baseball history,
yep,
obviously, but I don't know. I feel like Kirk Gibson is not the guy that they would tease like that. I don't know. I
yeah,
feel like
I
he's
see
a
your
guy
point.
that
Yeah,
would.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like he's a guy that would show up, be like, "Ooh, new legend and headliner packs on Friday," and be like, "Oh my God, it's Kirk Gibson. What the hell?"
yeah.
I I mean, he does have an MVP. He does have a ALCS MVP. He has a Silver Slugger. Like, he's got some accolades. I'm not saying he's relevant or anything like that. Of course not. Um, but I feel like if he's a new legend in the game, there's only a little bit I think they could do with him versus
Hmm.
a guy like Joe Mauer where he can get so many different versions. You saw him with a gold card. You could get like a batting title card, like a milestone card. He could get prime card. He's got so many different ways. Whereas Kirk Gibson, I feel like the only way you give him a 99 is if you just give him a 99 awards card for his MVP season.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I actually don't really have another guess. Like I'm stumped on this one because yeah, that's Dodger Stadium's lights in the background, but at the same time, how much stock do we really put in that? Because they like to tease a little bit in these legend reveals.
So
So,
far, but they haven't though. It's so far. Like
but in previous years,
in previous years, they have.
you're gonna tell me that they don't tease legend reveals when they teased
I know,
Jeter when
Jeter.
Soriano was revealed last year?
You're
You're gonna
right.
tell
You're
me they
right.
don't tease?
You're right. You're right. I know.
So I don't know.
Um, I just want to go now because it's in my
I
head,
know you do.
and he would be my end game first baseman, legit,
Really?
just because I love his swing so much. I'm telling you, me and him clicked when playing MVP. He got me a couple of playoff runs when I played online for MVP. He was just that guy for me, and I want him to be that guy for DD for me. So hopefully,
He was your John Dowd.
yeah, pretty much. He was. I mean, I would choose him over John Dowd back in the day. So yeah, we'll see. Lance Berkman, another name that came up, but Lance Berkman, his follow through is a little bit like Beltran, so who knows? But that'll be another fantastic name. We might actually see that name come up when we go over the AL and NL West Legends. So a little
We
tease there.
might.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we get that. We get that Thursday tomorrow. We should get a coach video before we get to the AL and NL West Legends, and then end out the podcast. We should get a video tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll
Probably
probably
more.
just be about Nintendo Switch though.
Yep, pretty much.
So
Coach
I
playing on
mean,
Nintendo Switch with Atani somehow. That's my guess. We'll
yeah.
see what happens there. But it is 2022 tomorrow, Cooks.
You're not wrong. That's good point. Good point.
Legends trailer, drop Jeter.
Ooh. Ooh. Don't
Not going to happen.
tease me
It's
like
not going to
that.
happen.
Don't
I'm
tease
just
me
saying.
like that.
I like to, just put it in the atmosphere. Just, see what happens. But it's not going to happen. I already know. It's like a 0.5% chance that will happen. All I want to know is if Randy's in the game now here, Cougs. That's all I want.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, when we start going over these West legends, that's going to be brought up. So
Yeah.
don't you just
Let's
hold
just start
that thought.
Let's just start it. We're already there. So, as we've been doing for the past 2 weeks, we've been doing one division between both leagues, AL and NL, what legends we want from each team. We did the Central last week. We did the East 2 weeks ago. Now we are doing the AL West and the NL West. Let's start out with your boys, right? With your team, the Angels. Let's get it. You can start
Let's do
off
it.
this week.
All right. Also, while we're talking about this, people in the live chat right here, feel free to
Yeah.
put in your legends
Also-
that you would like to see from these teams.
Also, a lot of people were saying Aegon for the new legend hit.
I mean, cover athlete.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of
I don't-
sense.
I feel like he had not a two-handed swing though. That's the thing that throws me off. But
But he
anyway,
also played a lot in Dodger Stadium because he played for the Padres and the
and then
Dodgers.
Dodgers,
So
yeah.
yeah. So okay, but let's get started with these legends. We'll start with the AL West. Start with my boys, the Angels. One thing that was a big deal this year with the Angels was when I try to do their all-time teams, their offense is loaded. They've got dudes all up and down the field, maybe other than a catcher. Um, so I'm actually going to cheat a little bit, and
Okay.
I'm going to take two here because I think they need a lot of pitching help. So I'm going to go first off with Chuck Finley. Lefty played with the Angels for 13, 14 years, something like
Okay.
that, basically mid 80s through the 90s. I would say he's not like the greatest pitcher of all time. He had a couple nice seasons, but overall, he's a big piece of the Angels' history, and I would love to see him in the game just to go on that Angels all-time team. But if I'm talking about the number one guy that I do want from the Angels, just I made a whole top 10 legends I want to see in the game. I want Mike Napoli. And I will say this, Mike Napoli's best card in MLB The Show would not be an Angels card. It would be a Rangers card. But Mike Napoli would be huge for the Angels all-time team. Plus, he would just be a sick card because he'd have catcher, he'd have secondary positions. He's one of those big time power bats for Battle Royale. So give me Napoli, give me Chuck Finley, both of them.
Yeah, I actually had to. Good thing I put two names for the Rangers because he was one of them. So I
Nice.
got another one. But yeah, Mike Napoli. Once Sam Huff reminds me of Napoli a little bit with that
A little
power
bit, yeah.
catcher. But Napoli had one of those swings where it was just he played above his attributes. I remember even playing with his live series card where he was on the Astros, I believe. It was like his last year, but he still raked. Oh man, I want that card back. I'm going more the obvious choice. Mets bias here too. K-Rod, Francisco
Okay.
Rodriguez. Get him back in the game. I'm not sure how he would pitch in this type of era of MLB The Show. He was good back in then, but I'm not sure how he would do in 21 because it's just basically what fastball, slider, and that 12-6 of his.
Yeah, yeah, it's a, or I think it might be a sweeping curve.
It might
Actually,
be a
I don't
sweep
know.
curve. I knew he had some type of curve. But yeah, I don't know how he is do. I also think about CJ Wilson being a random lefty. I feel like he had
Hmm.
like a cutter, sinker type of base. So I was thinking more meta base with CJ Wilson.
Yeah,
I feel like there was another name,
for
Jared
the
Weaver as
Angels.
well. Was it
Yeah,
Jared
I
Weaver?
mean,
Yeah, but
Jared, yeah,
he'll get
Jared
rocked.
Weaver. Yeah, he would not be that good
He
in
would
the
just be
game.
BP.
I'd like him in the game, but he would not be that good.
Yeah, he'll be BP. Let's move to Astros, and I kind of already said my pick. We just mentioned the name, and that is another B, Lance Berkman. We already have Biggio. We already have Bagwell. Give me Berkman. Berkman was actually, fun facts, my first autographed card I ever got. I think it was from Triple Crown. It was a really sick card. But anyway, I love Lance Berkman, switch hitter. Played for the Cardinals as well. Won the World Series with them, I believe. But he was always a contact type of hitter. He'll be I'm thinking more BR base. I'm not sure how his end game card would be. I gotta look his stats a little bit more. I could be totally wrong. I'm actually gonna pull it up right here while I'm talking about him, but still
Uh,
a name I would like to get. Oh no, he was third running up in MVP one year where he hit 45
no,
home
yeah,
runs, 130. Yeah. Yeah, give me Lance Berkman.
Berkman was a stud.
Yeah, he was I don't know why I always was he always
I,
was a great
I think he
contact
just
hitter.
gets. I think he just gets overshadowed by like Biggio and the
Yeah,
fact that Clemens and Pettit were on that roster
but that
and guys
2006
like
year?
that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go with another B, and it's a guy that um was in the game recently. I'm gonna go Carlos Beltran. I know it's the easy pick. That 2004 postseason Beltron is just it's one of the most iconic MLB The Show cards ever, honestly.
Yeah.
So give me Carlos Beltran, switch hitting bat, great fielding. He's 100% my Astros pick. If I had to pick somebody else, it would have been Berkman. So I'm happy that we had something different there.
Yeah. Beltran, I don't have to talk anymore. Best center fielder the Mets ever had.
Oh
Probably going
yeah.
Hall of Fame as a Met, in my eyes.
Yeah, best center fielder Mets ever had. That's bold.
Yeah.
That's bold
Um,
because I'm pretty sure a guy named
Willie was
Who we
on his later
made?
years. He was on his
But
later years.
still, I mean, if we're taking career,
Oh, we were taking
you
no, but he played his best baseball with the Mets.
okay, fair enough, fair
That's what
enough,
I'm
fair
saying.
enough,
Like, he had his best stretch with the Mets, I believe, with that 7 to
fair
8 years.
enough.
Okay, I should reward that. All right. I'm not
Thank
saying
you,
he's
thank
better
you.
than Mace, all right? That's what I'm not trying to do here, Cougs. But yeah, I would love Beltran back. I went first. So you first, Mariners, maybe? I think we're gonna have the
All
same.
right, we'll go M's.
Yeah.
A-Rod.
A-Rob? Yeah, easy.
A-Rod. And, this is a division where A-Rod could be on two teams, but Mariners A-Rod, I want the early years. I want the breakout years for A-Rod. Um, but I'll take him as a Ranger and I'll take him as a Yankee. I don't care. Just put him in the game. I genuinely think that 99 A-Rod would be the best shortstop in the game easily. Even with finest cards late in the year, like a Tatis or like a Trey Turner. He's to me, he's almost unbeatable with his mix of contact, power, speed, fielding, everything.
Yep.
A-Rod would be number one for me. So yeah, he's my guy for the M's.
Sounds good. If you look at what cards we already have for the Mariners, pretty much we have like pretty much almost all their all-time greats. Buhner, John Orwood, Tino Martinez, Griffey.
Yep.
Hopefully that name that we're going to be talking about a little bit. Um, and it's either A-Rod or the other one. Oh, we have Edgar as well. Don't forget Mr. DH. But Etrio, I mean, it's either A-Rod or Etrio. There's no other. Am I really want Jamie Moore? He's just going to be BP.
Yeah, he's not,
So no, I'm not saying Jamie Moore in real life. I mean, he'll strike me out. I'm just saying for video game
Oh
wise.
yeah.
Video
Yeah.
game wise, he'll just be BP. So it's Etrio. How many years has he been retired already? It has to be like
Ichiro's last year was
3?
19.
19. So 3 years. I mean, usually it's like 5 years until we get. But it's Etrio. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I would love Etrio back.
I mean, Joe Mauer retired in 18.
okay,
so,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Easy. So we'll see if we ever. I think we'll eventually see Etrio back in. It's just a matter of when. So that's an easy one for me. I'll start with A's. I got shortstop Miguel Tejada.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah. I mean, he won an MVP when he was 36. He had that nice two-handed swing. Part of that A's team that won on the Moneyball streak that he just somehow doesn't get mentioned in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what that's
kind
funny?
of gets
I'm
forgotten.
sorry. I have a bone to pick. Yo, he doesn't get mentioned in Moneyball. Freaking Mark Mulder, Zito, Tim Hudson, they kind of like the back shadow, right? And they have Couch who had 44 saves. And even like, come on
Yeah,
now.
they were a good team.
Yeah. And no,
it
we
wa-
get like, Scott Henneberg and David Ortiz is the ones that freaking, did it all.
Hatterberg, they had a whole thing with Pena and the trade
Oh.
deadline, all that stuff. But like they were a good squad. Granted, they were like a ragtag group, but they had some big dudes on that team. So
Yeah. So anyway.
okay. So he's your pick for the A's. I went with a guy that it's kind of interesting when you start to think about it. I went Eric Chavez, because
Cover boy, if you think of it.
yeah, pre Sony San Diego cover boy, because he was cover boy for MLB 2005, which was 989 Studios, and then 989 Studios turned into SDS. So I guess technically he's still a cover boy, even though it was never the show.
Yeah.
But just a really, really solid career with the A's. I mean, 6 straight Gold Gloves, Silver Slugger in 1 year, in 2002, the Moneyball year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to
34
say he was
homers.
part of it too. He only got like a little snippet.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
movie.
he had, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive seasons with 26 home runs or more. Like, this dude could hit. And, with him being as nasty as he was with the glove, like, we'll take that 100%. So Eric Chavez for me. Yeah, that's my A's pick. And then that just leaves us with the Rangers for the AL West. And my Rangers pick, I want Adrian Beltre.
Okay.
I want Beltre back.
Yes.
He's a phenomenal third baseman, one of the best, similar to Joe Mauer. He retired in 2018. So I think it's time to get Adrian Beltre back in the game, and he fits on 4 all-time teams: the Rangers, the
Mhm.
Red Sox, the Mariners, and the Dodgers. So give me Beltre.
Exactly. Belcher is going to be announced after the Rangers pick again because he was my Dodgers pick. Because I loved the Dodgers card, so I put him as a Dodgers pick. That Dodgers card carried me throughout so many BR runs when he was in the game and got me flawless card. I love his swing. But for Rangers, I went with Kevin Brown. Kevin
Ooh, good
Brown,
pick.
I think will fit in this meta that we have right now for pitchers in MLB show. Not only that, he'll fit on multiple all-time teams, whether it be the Marlins, Yankees, Padres, so on, Dodgers. But he started as a Ranger, and he had a couple good years with the Rangers as well. So I was like, all right, give me Kevin Brown. I couldn't think of anyone else. I don't think Josh Hamilton will ever be in this game again, just with the off-field stuff that happened before, because he'll always be up there. Trying to think if
Yep.
there's anyone else known. Juan Gonzalez. I didn't think of him.
Yeah.
I did not think of him
Uh,
until now, or Rafael Palmeiro. Did not
yeah,
think of him.
Palmero, I was about to say, yeah. And then who's another one? Was it? Nah, he only had one good year, really. I was supposed to say Gary Matthews.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, I like the pick.
Yeah, I was thinking pitching wise, and think Kevin Brown was there, so we'll go from there. Since we already talked about Beltre, I'll just shift into Dodgers. That's who I had. I can't think of anyone else. And maybe Sandy Koufax, but that's about it. I'll
Well,
let
you
you go.
just had to go out and say that, Stuffy, because Sandy Koufax is my pick.
Um,
I,
it was a good
I,
transition because I
it
stopped
was a,
there.
it was a phenomenal transition, and the like I said earlier with Chuck Finley, not only what do I think he'd be a good addition to the Angels all-time team, I just want more lefty starting pitchers.
Okay.
Like we have only a select few decent lefty starting pitchers. So Sandy Koufax, widely considered one of the best lefties ever, would be a great addition to the game. So like his what was it? I think it was a 4-year stretch. Let me pull this up real quick. Sandy Koufax, a 4-year stretch where he won the Cy Young in 3 out of those 4 years. Retired after the 1966 season, which you could argue was his
Mhm.
best one. Or 190 ERA plus, at a 173 ERA in 323 innings. Like Sandy Koufax was absolutely electric. He would easily be one of the best pitchers in the game.
Yeah.
And like I said, the more lefties, the better, because right now the game's all righty heavy.
I'm with you. Let's do it. I think that's another reason why I thought of CJ Wilson. Just
Yeah.
someone fits the meta recent years. Wasn't the greatest pitcher, but he'll fit like the mid major, mid legend type. Rockies. Go ahead. Let me hear it.
Rockies, okay. I mean, Rockies is tough because a lot of their big time dudes are in the game. We have
Yep.
Todd Helton, we have Vinny Castilla this year. Of course, we've still got Charlie Blackmon. We've got like a lot of the big time Rockies guys. But we recently lost Tulo for his retirement, so
Mhm.
let's get Tulo back in the game. He's my Rockies pick, one of
Why
the
not?
better shortstops you could use for sure. Just solid overall, and a lot of people really like his stance. So give me Tulo.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got Mauer. I mean, we get the prime to rookies back. How about it? Get the
Mhm.
Mauer, get
Yep.
the
Yep.
Tulo. Speaking of Mauer, which we didn't say when we mentioned, he'll be in the digital deluxe cover pack.
Yes.
I mean, it was
Yes.
kind of self-explanatory, but just point that out once again.
And it'll be a diamond in that pack.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For Rockies, I got Andres Galarraga, the big cat.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Like, see that stance in the game, hit some 500 bombs, go to the old Mullins Park and, relive that home run he hit over there. I'll be down for that, man.
That's a
I
really good one. I didn't even think about him actually.
Yeah, and I think he would have a home run derby card too. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. You won a batting title though.
Yeah, so either way, Andres Galarraga.
He had 370 in 1993.
Jesus, how many home runs did he
Yeah.
hit?
22. He had an OPS over 1,000. He had 35 doubles.
That's crazy. Yeah,
A pretty good year.
yeah, I'll take it. But yeah, I would love him in the game. So he was one of those stances when I was a kid I would try to emulate. He
Yeah.
had that little like leg. It was like a Clint Frazier type, like how Clint Frazier does, but not as significant. Um,
Yeah.
let's move to Padres. Padres be another former player that we had in the past, and I'm going to Jake Peavy. Just another
Nice.
pitcher that'll fit the meta. Um, and he'll. I remember loving using him back in the day, whether that was 17 or 16. But I remember really liking using Jake Peavy.
Good one. Good one. Yeah, yeah. I think he had some decent cards. Um, I went with Adrian Gonzalez, a
Oh,
guy
okay.
that could possibly be a guy that was is going to be revealed on Thursday.
Yeah,
Just all of these cover athletes would be great, but yeah, I went with Aegon. I would love to have him in the game. He is he's just a solid overall first baseman. He has like diamond fielding. I think his signature in 19 was pretty good. Not the craziest pick in the world, but I think Aegon would be a nice guy to have back in here.
he's one of those
Um,
cards that you would want to release early when he gets the in game
yes,
card.
yes, he's
Yeah,
one of those guys, almost like a more like a Don Mattingly type than
yeah,
like a big power hitter like a Pete or something like that.
yep.
So, um, okay, let's move on to the Giants.
Hmm.
I in the last podcast for my Pirates pick, I chose Barry Bonds because I had a guy in mind for the Giants, and I'm gonna stick with that. I'm going Jason Schmidt. So
Ooh, I haven't heard that name in forever.
yeah, I
He's like Matt
remember.
Cain before Matt Cain was.
Yeah, I remember the one of the only times I actually ever got to see Barry Bonds play in person.
Hmm.
I think was '05. It's either '05 or '04 or something like that. We randomly went up to San Francisco and we got to see a ball game there. And Jason Schmidt was pitching and he threw a hell of a game. And then I went home and I used him in MVP and he threw a hell of a game. So
Hmm.
I always kind of liked Jason Schmidt. I'm not really 100% sure what his pitch mix would be, but um, just more of a nostalgia thing for me. I just remember my time seeing a game there. He was pitching and he did well, and I was like, I like this guy.
I'll
So
take
Jason
it.
Schmidt.
I'll take it. Mine is going to be another Bet Spies. Jeff Kent. Give me a power
Cool,
second baseman, like a big
cool.
power second baseman. Um, I would love. Don't get me wrong. I was thinking about Lincecum. Love Lincecum back in the game. I just remember facing Lincecum. I remember just seeing him well. So I just kind of, I don't know. That's me. But he'd
Yeah,
probably be better this time around. Who wouldn't want Lincecum? But Jeff Kent for me would. I just feel like we need that big second baseman with power. Ryan Sandberg does have that home run derby card, but I don't know. It's something with Sandberg that just doesn't click for me.
yeah.
Personally,
And we didn't get a good Cano this year. So once again, we're
he's coming
missing that
back.
second. Yeah,
Ah,
but I'm saying this
yeah,
year we
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
that second base power, so it'd
Yeah.
be a good one.
I can't wait for Cano to get back. Give me his signature series or something like that with that swing of his. But yeah, Jeff Cannon, I would love to see. You know who the beard? Someone actually mentioned him in chat. That was
Oh,
Syndrome. Brian
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Especially want presentation like that again with his fearless
yeah.
beard. He might be a choice.
And we already have Sergio Romo, so you could get that 8-9 punch.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of cool to see. I don't know. We'll see. I'm glad we both were on the same page to leave the Diamondbacks last.
we both know where this is going. I think the chat knows where this is going. I did the Giant. You go ahead. You started off.
Oh man. So I was looking back. This is more BR based on me. I want Marky Mark back. I call him Mark Reynolds. Either Mark Reynolds I want back or Chris Young. Remember the gold Chris Young?
Super good card.
So good back in the day.
Yeah.
He would probably be a diamond now, but Chris Young, he's now on MLB Network. Love watching him do on MLB tonight.
Yeah.
Want him. I could see him actually be coming back because of that MLB Network type of because we see a lot of people from MLB Network actually be a legend of the new game. I wonder if that's like Rofo hooking them up or something like that. I don't know. But
Maybe. I
but
mean, well, Harold Reynolds was in the game for like a little bit,
yep,
1 or 2 years, right?
yep. And pretty much
Yeah.
everyone was there. The
Yeah.
only you had oh no, Sean Casey we haven't got yet. I'm surprised we didn't get
Yeah.
Sean Casey. He would be another one. D Roy
Be a
as well.
fun one.
But anyway.
One of the only guys to get thrown out at first base from left field. I love that clip.
Oh
It's
man, who
golden.
doesn't?
Um,
But yeah, those are my guys.
so for my D-backs pick, once again another bias because of the all-time Angels. I'm going Dan Heron.
Ooh, okay.
Once again, could fit on the
Fantastic
Angels.
Twitter follow, by the way.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. He always is is making it entertaining. So yeah, Dan Herron. Not too much to say. Once again, definitely not like the greatest pitcher in the world or anything like that, but played for 12 years, had some all-star appearances, had a couple top 10 Cy Young finishes, specifically 2008 when he or 2009, I'm sorry, when he finished in the top 5 of the Cy Young, his last full year with the Diamondbacks before he made his way over to the Angels in 2010.
Yep.
So yeah, just a solid arm, but I mean, Scuffy, if we're being real here, if we're talking about the D-backs, obviously Randy. At
Yeah.
this point, it feels like we have to put Randy back on the wish list because we don't know what's going on with him. He's been wiped clean from the trailers. They've cleaned out their Twitter of any Randy Johnson stuff. Like, what is going on with Randy Johnson? I'm starting to get concerned at this point because legitimately they haven't said anything about it. So unless they're waiting for like a legend trailer or something, I feel like a lot of people are going to be really pissed if he doesn't end up being in the game because you can say that you saw that trailer and be like, I bought this game because he was in that trailer and now he's not in. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't, especially when Xbox removes it. That's when it tells me like, yo, something's going on.
Everything. Xbox removed it.
Oh,
Major League Baseball removed it.
I just don't
They
know.
removed it. It's crazy, man.
It's
PlayStation.
funny. Someone, I think it was Nutsy Poo. One of his comments had Justin Herbert's brother tag Randy Johnson's daughter and saying, "What's going on with your dad? Everyone wants to know with your dad." I don't know if there was any, and she was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll make sure he texts you or something." But I don't think we ever heard back yet. So who knows?
Oh, we need that. We need that combo.
Yeah, a little detective work by Nutsy Poo right there. Just, everyone wants to know. We'll find out eventually, I'm sure. I mean, he has to be in the game.
Has to be, right?
Yeah, I just can't see it like that. If he made it to the trailer without like the rights, that's a big,
That's a big oopsie.
yeah, a big one. But there's something could have went on. We don't know behind the scenes, so we'll see. I'm not going to say anything until we get 22 drop, but that's pretty much
Yeah.
going to be the first thing that someone's going to check. Yo, where's Randy at, man? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all of our legends that we did for all the Major League Baseball. Hopefully, since we finished, now that MLB and MLB PA will finish and wrap up the CBA and get a new deal done, and we'll be smooth sailing into the 22 season here, Kooks.
I mean, they met for like what 4 or 5 hours today. Like,
Apparently, they met. They had like a 3-hour break, and then they reconvened. But I don't know. They're meeting all this week. That's all that matters.
all this week. That's the big thing. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
So hopefully we get some more little nuggets of info about the game this week, other than just the fact that it's going to be on Nintendo Switch,
which we already know.
We'll see if we get any more legend teases or if they say anything cool on the feature premiere. Because if not, next week might be kind of slow. But we'll see what happens. See what happens.
We'll figure stuff out. As we always do. It's funny when we think that we're going to have like a slow episode, it always turns out to be long. You realize that, right? Because somehow we just go off tangent.
We have a lot to say.
Yeah. So that's going to. But that's going to do us for today's episode here, Kooks. If you're watching on the live stream right now, stick around. We're just going to do a little outro that I'm going to botch. And we'll get some Coldplay in. And remember, if you're not following us on YouTube, make sure youtube.com/inside the show and be part of the live stream, which we are doing right now. Once again, that's youtube.com/inside the show. We're also on Twitter. Yeah, we're on Twitter. Twitter.com/inside the show PC. Once again, inside the show PC. You can follow my boy Cougs at Cougs46. I'm at Scuffy McGee TV. Cougs, it's been another fantastic week. Remember, we got homework. We got homework for next week. Play a little bit Switch Play Online, and we'll talk about next week with the new feature coming up on Thursday. Remember, it's Thursday this week at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. But yeah, that's going to do us for Inside the Show, episode 4 already. It's going quick here already. Episode 4. You guys been showing a lot of love so far on this season. So thank you guys. And remember, if you're here with the live stream, come with some Q&A while we boot up some Coldplay. But for now, if you're listening to us or watching the replay of this, thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys next week on Inside the Show. Peace out.